Welcome to another episode of the Millionaire Barber Mastermind Group. Today we have none other than Christopher Burt. He needs no introduction. He's an author. He's been in this industry for over 30 years. A lot of y'all know him from Barber Society. That's one of the largest Facebook groups in the world, one of the largest barber Facebook groups in the world, actually. A lot of y'all on social media, Instagram, but it's really out of sight for somebody to have a barber Facebook group with over 11,000 members. So I'm not going to talk a lot. I'm going to let Chris take over. He's going to tell y'all a lot about his life. He's one of the most educated persons that I've ever met in this industry. He's like a historian, a philosopher. So welcome, Chris.
Thank you. How you doing, Chan?
Doing good.
All right. Yeah, the Barber Society is, we've got 11,000 members now. We're really excited about that. And I think one of the different things about what we do in the Barber Society is that we've never had a member campaign. We've never bought fans or did anything to bring people in except for word of mouth. So what we've built is we've built a network of people who know each other. You get one guy comes in, he gets excited about what he sees, and he brings in 10 more. And so that's how we got there. That's how we got to 11,000, was an organic movement of people who actually want to be together. So we don't have a lot of the fuss and fighting and arguing. As a matter of fact, one of the bylaws that we have within the group is that you have to leave your ego at the door. And so we've got people who, again, want to relate with one another, want to learn, want to share, want to post, want to comment, and they just want to grow. So I'm really excited about what we've been able to do in the last few years.
Now, how did y'all get the Barber Society started, and what year did it start?
About, let me see, 2010, we were participating in the Clipper Ed group. And, you know, there was a lot of, at that time, everybody was new to Facebook and people were coming in, jockeying for position, trying to be the biggest name and the loudest voice. And just all that conflict kind of drove Lee Trim to start his own group. And Lee is a really dynamic type of guy who can just draw people. You know, he said he's going to start a group, and all of a sudden all these other people followed in. And then he goes out and says, hey, I got a group. And he's just got that kind of supernatural gift to draw people. And so he set up a administrative board of 5 members, and I was one of those. And we just kind of grew the group from there. Just a handful of guys that wanted to be able to learn and share. One of the interesting things about Lee was that he was a student at the time. And he didn't want all of that commotion going on. He really wanted to have experts so into it. And so that's how the Barber Society was born.
Now, tell us a little bit about the Barber Society. How does it benefit barbers? How does it help them?
One of the things that I noticed just in dealing with people in this industry is everybody wants to have a voice. You know, everybody's jockeying for a platform. You know, look at me, look at me. And so one of the things that we did is we allowed everybody to have a voice in the group. But when the rule is to leave your ego at the door, you have to learn how to use that voice appropriately. You know, so we've had our times. In fact, Lee really shut the group down after about 2.5 years. So what we've been able to do, he shut it down to 0. Nobody was in the group with him. Then he brought the leadership back in, and then he started bringing in people who actually, you know, were yearning for what happened to the group, you know, so he let them in. And so actually we probably would have had a lot more if we didn't throw those first 2 years away. And, you know, some of the conflicts, and they're stupid ones, you know, what's better, Andis or Wall, you know, that's what people were arguing about at that time, you know. And so he just like shut it down, started the group all over. And, you know, everybody there really wants to be better. And I think that one of the things that will produce, and we've done it so far, but we'll become known for producing this next generation of leaders that come through our industry. There's not too many people out there where we haven't touched their life in some sort of shape, form, or fashion. But in this next wave, there'll be people who actually grew up in our group.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a whole wave of students now who come to our group, and and you own a barber school, so you know when the wrong kind of influence is dealing with your students, and that's exactly what we try not to be. They come and share with us what's going on at school, and then we chime in from an expert standpoint, or professional is probably a better way to say it, from a professional standpoint. And it's mostly encouragement. It's not, man, don't listen to them, I'm trying to tell you how to do it. No, it's actually we promote going to school. We do allow people who've shown an interest in the industry to come in and don't have license, but I wish I had the stats, man. These people actually end up signing up for school and finishing. We all partner at some sort of stage in their careers in order to make sure that they finish. We've had people who created programs, study programs for people who've gotten their certification but are waiting to get their license. Take their board exam. We've done certification courses with people. You name it, man. We've actually put it together because there's just so much talent in the group. It's not about me. It's not about anybody else in particular. It's really crowdsourced information. And so, of course, there's some voices that are more prominent than others, but everybody's got a voice.
Mm-hmm. I want to share the screen with the audience, and I want you to tell them about the Barber Society.
Okay, is this live? This is what's happening right now in the group?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to scoot up a little bit and see. Let's scroll up. Let's see. Who's there? I wish I had told them this was happening.
Oh.
Okay. Oh, that's that promo that I put up for you.
Uh-huh.
A little more. Scroll up. Daniel Sanchez. What did he do? Posted a haircut.
Oh, what does he think about this cut?
Yeah. Well, Lee said he put stuff on to spark conversation. That'll spark it, all right.
Right.
That's that chili bowl blend.
Now, I noticed that people sell stuff in here.
Yes, they do. One of the goals that we had too was to create our own economy. We started selling. People start selling and exchanging tools. You see a lot of groups that have spun off and made themselves, an individual, tool exchange. But we actually started that in the group, probably like 6 years ago, and it was just a show of how much respect and trust was going on within the group, because somebody would send some money and hope that they get clippers, and they would get them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then it kind of got grimy, but
now
those people weren't actually in our group. They were in other groups.
it says that there are like 2,514 items for sale. So
Yeah.
that
That's a Facebook thing. Now, Facebook started that selling items the way that you can post something.
uh-huh.
Same place where the button used to be to just post. So a lot of times people post it, hit that button. Instead of discussion, they hit the sale button and they're making a regular post. But as you scroll through, there are items that are for sale. We actually have our own official TBS store where we.
Is that on here?
If you hashtag TBS Barber Supply,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it'll come right up.
Okay.
Go over there to your search box for the group, not the one for Facebook, but for the group. Yeah, right there.
And type
TBS Barber Supply.
TBS.
Yep, TBS Barber Supply.
One word or space?
Yes. No, all one word. And you can hit that. And I tell you, our pricing is excellent. We are
Next.
more than competitive with
I must have typed in it wrong. TBS Barber Supply. Hashtag.
TBS Barber.
That should that hashtag be there?
Yeah, you should be able to pull it up with the hashtag.
Maybe I'll take the hashtag off.
Yeah, you got it.
No, it's not.
Oh, are you on items for sale? I don't list it there.
No. I'm not.
Yeah, just search the group as a whole. Yeah.
What do you mean? Go
It
out.
looks like it looks like you're searching an area that says items
So
for sale.
click on members.
I would just go to back to discussion. Yeah.
Okay, discussion.
Yeah. And then search the group.
Search this group.
Yeah.
Item hashtag you said.
Yep. Hashtag TBS Barber Supply.
TBS Barber.
And this is a members only group. It didn't, I don't know why it's not coming up for you.
Well, I type in TBS. I can go to sales post.
No, it's not a sale post.
Okay.
Actually, just make it a regular post. And what we do is,
But tell us about that.
yeah, what we do is we've partnered with the distributorship, and so we actually have everything that is out there. And one of the things about this barber supply that impressed me so is that it's about 60 years old, and the guy that purchased it completely revamped it, because it was in the downtown area, and the old man that had it, it's kind of cluttered, old, he's in the very They moved it to a new location. Everything in it's brand new. And not only do they have all the old traditional stuff, but they literally have the new stuff. When I say new stuff, Chan, I'm talking about stuff that our friends have made. People we know. Like if you walk through that store, you'd be like, man, I know this guy that made this. I know this. I mean, because we purchase the hot items that are out. And then everything is at an excellent price. Okay, just regular. This is not even a special discount that we've negotiated for the group. Their pricing was hot in the first place. And after that, we run a weekly special that is completely unbelievable. And that's what I was hoping it would come up when you do the hashtag. Just try the TBS Barber Supply or TBSBarberSupply.com, because every post that I have says that.
I may be typing in the wrong area. Yeah, I'm probably typing it in the wrong area.
Yeah. The first place you were typing, I thought would have worked.
Yeah. Now, so when somebody wants to sell something and they put something in, how do they get paid?
That I don't know.
Okay.
They usually negotiate their own terms. We've had people that sold equipment. A lot of people selling trade tools. A lot of people, are selling their major equipment like chairs and stuff. We've had people drive miles to go get chairs. I've gone to Chicago and got chairs from people before. Um, so it's a network where we reach out and touch one another. It doesn't stay on just social media.
Mm-hmm.
There's levels to engagement. I think that we had to follow the social media rules, and we kind of got good at it. Now people comment on stuff instead of just hitting like. People had to grow into that.
Mm-hmm.
So boom, I did it. But we had to teach people how to engage, and that desire to engage has always transferred into reaching out and touching people. And maybe, I don't know, maybe I kind of, was a living example of that, because I would make a big deal out of when I'm going to a hair show that I would stop and meet people along the way. Because everybody was like, why do you always drive? Why don't you fly? I'm like, because if I drive from Columbus, Ohio to Atlanta, I can stop and see my boy in Knoxville. I can stop and see my guy in Cincinnati. I can stop, you know what I'm saying? I'll go 50 miles off the track. When I was going to Chicago, I'd stop in Fort Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
Just because these are guys that I deal with every day, and I'm not going to pass them without stopping and saying what's up.
Right. I want to go to your, is that your personal Facebook page right here?
Yeah. I never go there, man.
You don't?
Yeah, that's it.
Tell us a little bit about a few of the pictures here.
Yeah, but I'm from Indianapolis, so they can stay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Here. Got my daughter, my son.
Okay.
Oh, that's Stephen Putman. Yeah.
Where?
Scroll up the second picture right there. Yeah. Yep, Stephen Putman. I don't know why I'm pointing. You can't see why I'm pointing, but yeah, that's him. He's part of the group. One of our key members, key leader. Great guy, runs a shop, has a very special business model that is put together. One that is not foreign to the hair industry, but is foreign to barbers. Barbers tend not to run commission shops unless they are, just as an alternative to booth rent. But literally, he's positioned himself as a commission shop. He takes care of his employees. He trains them. The very first thing he did before he opened up, the name of the shop is Old World Barbershop.
Mm-hmm.
When it's Old World, like OLDE, World Barbershoppy, like SHOPPE. And so he had this Old World logo, and I said, you need to focus on shaving. I said, shaving is going to be the next big thing. So I introduced him to Mary with her razor. They happen to live about an hour and a half away. Mary goes down, trains him. He picks up the razor, focuses on shaving, has this whole business model where he actually doesn't just make money or his staff doesn't just make money for shaving, but the old school with the wall unit so he's selling razors, selling mugs, selling mug brushes. Then he's renting a place for you to store them. It's phenomenal, the business model that this guy has come up with. And because his history actually comes from corporate America and corporate sales.
Okay.
Brings a wealth of knowledge, wealth of experience, wealth of motivation to come, and it pours out over to these guys that are on the staff. Great guy, good friend, friend. Let me see who else you got there. Who else to keep? Oh, that's Larry the Barber Man, all the way to the right. This one I got interviewed by him at IBS. I'm sorry, your left.
Oh, my left. We're here.
Keep going.
Him?
No, it's above Stephen. right above Stephen's head.
Right here.
No, very next to, down. Okay, do you see the step and repeat wall?
Uh,
Go up from where you're at. Up to Stephen and then up one. Yeah, right there. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that was Larry the Barber Man from the UK.
Mm-hmm.
He interviewed me at IBS, New York.
Mm-hmm.
That's us at Pro Beauty. Yeah. So it's, I mean, it's a lot. I don't really use my personal page very much. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
who's that?
Where?
Like Ed. I can't really, it's small for me to see.
Um,
Shout out to Ed. That's my man, Lamont, right there where you were at, Barber Theory.
mm-hmm.
Lamont Evans, he's part of the group. He's got an organization called Successful Barber that works. And, you know, we partner up on a lot of things. He's right here in my city, so very strong in community outreach. In fact, Lamont actually was in a fraternity when he was in college.
Mm-hmm.
He led the fraternity, and so what he does with Successful Barber is much like the operation of a national organization like a fraternity. So he actually, you know, brings people in. They have to submit to some certain steps. You know, they have to pass the steps to come through. They're initiated in. They have personal responsibilities for outreach, and then the group has certain commitments that they have for outreach. They run a great big campaign for back to school.
Mm.
Like I see Lee Blades.
Yeah, I saw the, let's see, right here.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Lee Blades.
Lee Blades.
Now, you,
On BlackBerry Messenger.
oh, Lee Blades.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah,
when
Lee was part of that group when we very first started out on social media. Well, it wasn't even social media. It was just really kind of networking with other barbers.
mm-hmm. Now, when you first got started, you went to barber school back in 1988 or 87, 88?
88, started barber college in 88, and got kicked out for every reason that you guys could probably think of.
Now, then you went to beauty school.
And then I went to beauty school, right? So I'm trained in both. Most of my career I've operated under the cosmetology license. But my passion has always been for barbers because character-wise and technical skill-wise, everything that I've relied on for the almost 30 years I've been in the business, I learned in barber college. I thought it was a much better curriculum than cosmetology, even though they're so similar. But the integrity that is taught with in barbering far surpasses cosmetology.
Okay. Now,
The first book I wrote, I talk about my barber instructor that had his foot on my neck every day that I was in school. And I wrote that book to appreciate how he ran me, even to the degree of kicking me out.
because you wrote several books, tell us about your books.
Well, that first book, like I said, is called What's He Gonna Say Next? And What's He Gonna Say Next? I again wrote it to thank the person who pulled me out the street, because I used to cut in the projects like people run dope. You know, you find somebody that'll let you boom out their house, and that's what I did because I didn't want everybody coming to mine. She found me and she said, if you go to school, I will mentor you. I will show you everything I know. And so her name is Debbie Fields. And
Tell us the title of that again.
What's he gonna say next?
Okay, let's see. Is this it right here? I want to see.
It's a black cover. It's got me standing there with a white shirt. Yeah, that's it.
You see it?
Next.
Yeah.
Debbie actually exposed me to, you know who Floyd Kenyatta is, right? You remember Floyd?
Yeah, Floyd Kenyatta.
Yeah, he spoke at the round table. Floyd's actually from Columbus.
Oh,
Born and raised here, but he went to high school here. So she went to school with him. And so when he sold his product, we used to use his product line before it became a Paul Mitchell product.
oh, his product became a Paul Mitchell product.
Oh my God, Floyd's story is amazing. This is one of the very first people that I actually learned about. Floyd, if I remember correctly, was a hairstylist who had developed his own color line, temporary hair color. And it ended up being color shines. I'm sure that there were some advancements or whatever. And there was probably details that I don't know. But he actually sold his line to Paul Mitchell and secured himself a vice president position all the while with Pat.
Mm.
Which at 19, I thought that was the tightest business move I ever seen in my life. And then to get to meet him and shake his hand, that was cool. And then they launched it in Columbus. So I went to that and, got models into it, and it ended up, just making a movement here in the city. So he was huge for me to meet at 19 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Huge. And it motivated a lot of people to do bigger and better. By the time I was 20 years old, we were doing, well, I might have been a little older than that, maybe about 24. We were doing the hair shows in Chicago, Proud Lady, and we were doing Atlanta when Atlanta got big. About 3 or 4 people would come from Columbus and win first, third, fifth place or whatever. We pretty much stacked that trophy thing when we came back.
Right.
But anyway, the lady Debbie, her attitude every time I came up with an idea was like, "You go, boy, you go, you do it." She purchased a beauty supply that was going out of business, and took some of the stuff that she wanted out of that, and then was like, "What are you gonna do with the rest of that stuff?" She was like, "I don't know, it's just sitting there." And then she said, "Why? You got an idea?" I was like, "Yeah. Why don't I just go door to door and sell it like everybody else does?" Cool.
Mm.
So she gave me all the remainder of a beauty supply. So I started driving around from door to door doing the distributorship thing, with all this stock. That's probably where I got my first exposure in the city, where everybody knew who Chris was, but they didn't know me as a hairstylist. They knew me as the product guy.
Right.
Through that experience, when I got my license, I could work anywhere in the city I wanted to, at whatever level shop, because I'd already developed a relationship. I make that suggestion to a lot of people sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
How can I get myself known in the city? I was like, go get a job at the distributorship. Go deliver products.
Mm.
I was like, man, you will meet everybody. And if you conduct yourself properly, door to door, when you get a license, you can work anywhere.
Now, you wrote, tell us about the book, The Leadership System for Barbers.
Leadership System for Barbers is one where it kind of debunks the whole approach to getting to the top so I can run things. Everybody wants to get to the top. They want to be in large and be in charge. And what happens is the wrong person gets to the top. They don't know what to do when they get there. They don't have any experience. All they can manage is themselves. And, to get that far, but then now they're responsible for people and people's well-being. And so what the leadership system is it teaches a person how to start at the chair. Be a leader at your chair. Lead yourself into proper business habits. Everybody wants to be their own boss. And when I teach classes, I say, you can be your own boss, just don't be the worst one you ever had. So these things start to influence. So, I mean, if you're doing well, then lead in your shop. You know, lead with your neighbor. Lead in your shop. And then your shop should be leading in the community. And if you're still growing and progressing and expanding, eventually you'll be leading in your city. You know, and this, every time you take a step to the next level, you gather a bunch of followers with you. You have people that believe in you, and you're actually imparting certain values in them. You can lead in the region of your state, or, you know, we have regions in Ohio. We got like Northern Ohio, Southern Ohio, Central Ohio. You know, so all it is a major city, you know, but you can start to lead on the East Coast, or lead in the Midwest, or lead, you know, on the West Coast, or, you know, you might elevate to a level where you lead nationally. But when you get to that point, you've got some substance behind you and not just a bunch of hype.
Right.
You know, right along with that are community partnerships that benefit people. And, you know, so it's an excellent book. Anyone who wants to mobilize a movement of barbers, they should read that book. And it's very clean cut. Unlike the first book, which is kind of written like a story, this is written very direct, like a manual. So you should run with it, just like the guys on the cover.
Now, that other book, this one right here that you wrote, because you wrote quite a few books.
That book, Uncle Sam, Your Uncle Sam and the Barber Industry,
Yes.
is a primer for filing your individual and your small business taxes. We are known as an industry that does not pay their taxes. And I got wind of, you know, just some different changes that were going on with the IRS as they got more sophisticated with their digital tracking. And, you know, just realized that just like I don't know if people remember, years ago, they started honing in on the pizza guy. The pizza guy makes like $200 a night in tips, but he gets paid, you know, minimum wage. At that time, I think some pizza places were trying to pay them like waiters, pay them $3 an hour, and then let them get tips.
Yeah.
And so the IRS started really tracking that down. So they developed a system where, you know, they enforce the tip accounting, and they either get the employees to buy into it, or they get the companies to buy into it. And so the companies, this is what people don't understand. That deal is almost as if the company gets a promise not to get audited if they make sure that their staff files their tips. You know, and so it went from that to now there's a whole program that has, I forget the name of it. I apologize for that. It's in the book, and maybe it'll come to my mind shortly, but there's an initiative with the IRS to track down non-reporting, that means that you did not file your taxes. Under-reporting, which means you didn't tell the truth and you tried to hide tips or something. And non-payment, those are people who either didn't file and didn't pay, or filed and didn't pay.
Okay.
All of those lead to us. Not just one of them leads to us. All of them leads to us. And so I said, one of the things I wanted to do for the industry is make them more comfortable with the filing process. Now, I'm not a tax accountant. I don't have a history or a training in that. But what I did do is a lot of research. And in this book, all of my references are going back directly to the IRS website. where you can verify what I'm talking about. I just try and do it in language that barbers would understand, and coming from somebody that they trust.
Okay. Now, how can they purchase these books?
The website to purchase the books is christopherburke.bigcartel.com. When that pops up, it should say Kingdom Hair Press, and all three of those books are featured there.
So that was Christopher Burke.
Yes. christopherburke.bigcartel.com.
B-U-R-K-E or B-U-R-K-E, right?
Yes.
.com.
Mm-hmm.
And then / Big Cartel.
Nope, just .big cartel. christopherburke.bigcartel.com.
Okay. Now, what made you want to write all these books? Because the average barber person in our industry is not a published author, and certainly not a published author that many times.
A reader. I know, I mean, I don't want to say most. There's a lot of barbers that haven't read a book since they put the textbook down, the lady book.
Right.
And I personally wanted to change that. That's it. That's the website.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Now,
I wanted to change that. I wanted our knowledge base and source information to come from more verified sources than just barbershop rhetoric. We are an intelligent group of people. We sit here and meet people from every field of industry and have conversations 8 to 10 hours a day, and probably can argue down anybody on any subject. But a lot of it is rhetoric, you know? And so I would just want the barbers to read as well. I mean, we buy magazines, we put them in the lobby, we expect other people to read them, but we don't usually read them. So I just wanted to put some by barbers, for barbers type material out there. And you know, hopefully people would take on to it, and it might change the game. I know that the Barber Society has changed the game in a lot of ways. And one of the ways is that people type in complete sentences now. You know, it used to be cuss you out in 3 words and argue with you or whatever. But, you know, we've created a culture where communication is key. And I'm hoping that lays the foundation for people to start reading.
okay. Now, when you got out of beauty school, what year did you graduate from beauty school?
1992.
Okay, and what did you do after that?
That was in Bloomington, Indiana, and I came right back to Columbus, where I'd already been working and developed a clientele. So the whole reason I left and went and chose to go that far away was because, you know, I was one of those guys working in the shop without my license, you know, making money in a prestigious environment. And so I'm charging higher prices than the guys that have been out in the field. And the last thing I could really do is be in that same city and go cut hair for $3. It would have messed up the rest of my career. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So now, after that, then what did you do?
Well, then I just came straight here, and I actually I went back to the same shop that I was in with Debbie Fields.
Uh-huh.
And you know, had all those experiences with different products. I worked for Sebastian for about 9 years.
Uh-huh.
An educator. I, you know, like I said, did the trade shows. Went to another shop, which was a barber shop here and a beauty shop there. It was owned by a guy. I worked with him for a few years. Worked at a another shop. I worked on commission.
Mhm.
That's a pretty interesting story. The reason why I went there, I actually moved people from the south side of town to the north side. That's one thing I made a habit of doing. If I ever moved a shop, I corralled people from one side to another, so I'd pick up a new clientele, and it would, accumulate, and also upgrade it on purpose, so that every time I did move, I brought people to a better environment with more benefits for them, so that they
Mhm.
make a decision to not follow. I never really thought it was so much me as I'm taking them on an experience of, now you've got a receptionist, now you've got someone taking appointments to offer you soda, that kind of thing, and making it work for your extra $5 that that you have to pay now.
Right.
But in that situation, I was actually working on commission, but it was we banged that place out. It was a very new operation. The guy wasn't a barber. He was actually in trucking and distributing hair products. And he saw so many hair products going through this distribution system in trucking. He said there has to be something in it. And so he looked into it and decided to invest in a beauty salon. In 1 year, we expanded to be a full, like a 12,000 square foot day spa. This was in that time when when people with money wanted to invest in salons because they had the retail thing. So we actually had 30 hair care lines that we had available for sale in the shop and in the day spa. From there, he and I got into a business partnership, and I had a salon where I employed people on salary, commission, and booth rent. That was very interesting, where I had all three of those options. But it was kind of progressive, like you can grow. If you come in and you pay a salary, or you get paid a salary, then you move on to commission. And you can move through different stages of commission and stay there, or choose to booth rent at a flat rate. That was successful. And then we opened a school, and I got a chance to help develop curriculum. That was cool. We had a team of people, and we all made the we didn't subscribe to it. Do you subscribe to a curriculum at your school?
No, we use the My Ladies because it's already done.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. This guy was very a customized kind of guy, so he wanted everything. He didn't do accreditation. He did cash.
Okay.
His position was, he felt that he had a problem getting good staffing.
Uh-huh.
And so he said he would only charge people $10,000, but they had to pay it up front. He eventually went into installments, but it wasn't like weekly. It was like, lumps. Because he said people didn't value their education because they didn't pay for it. They didn't have to save to even get it started. They just walk in, sign a piece of paper, and now they're in school, and half of them don't finish, and and the other ones ain't serious about it. So he said, by the time you get somebody to put $10,000 down, or their mama or their daddy put $10,000 on their behalf, they would be serious. He was right. I got to give him that. People moved in from out of town, got apartments, and had $10,000 in their hand laid on the table to pay for school. But he wasn't. He wasn't the most upright kind of guy. And that money kind of got to him, and next thing you know, he was doing accreditation, and all the people who paid cash had student loans all of a sudden.
Okay.
That's
right. Now, the past few years, so what do you foresee in Barber? What do you got for the future as far as the Facebook group or going on toward the future? What are some of the things you're working on? I know you got all the books and
yeah, I really like writing the books. I got one more book that's a compilation of articles that I've written through the years that I would present to the group. I'm excited about Pro Beauty. We've got what's called the TBS Barber Main Stage there. This will be year 3 for that.
Mm-hmm.
Year 3 for that. There's some big changes coming to Pro Beauty. All that's getting sorted out now. So I'm excited about that. I don't know exactly to what extent we're changing, or else I would talk about it. But I just know that it's new and it's growing. And I'm excited about, my friends in the UK that I've been able to meet.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Mark Sproston with the Shave Doctor. He's got his products out. There's some things that we're doing with that. They've actually invited me to come to Greece,
Mm-hmm.
do a training out there. So that'll be in March. Unfortunately, I won't be at BarberCon because it's the same day. But I'm gonna be out the country, so I guess I'll be at BarberCon 3.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a good time in the industry, man. If your heart is right and your mind is right, there's so much to do. I just encourage everybody to find the gift that they have within them,
Mm-hmm.
and create environments that match it. I'm excited about Tyler Trotter, who I've mentored him all the way through school.
Mm-hmm.
Great things now. He's partnering up with Chris Basio and 360 Jeezy to do a project. They're going on a 5-city tour called the Thank You Tour. Again,
Mm-hmm.
another place where guys' their heart is right, and they all picked each other because they didn't have the egos.
Uh-huh.
But they've got the following, and they're just for the right things. So they want to go out and reach and touch their people. I think that's super cool. We got guys in our group that are opening up shops. I'm just excited about as much of the stuff other people are doing as the stuff that I'm doing.
Right. What good information could you leave the barbers? Like some nuggets? Because you've been in this industry over 30 years, I'd say, and you've been through a lot, learned a lot. What was some jewels that you could leave the
Well, like
barbers?
I was telling you yesterday, for me, it's really got to be down to be yourself. When I heard you speak, and I was like, this dude's got influence in this industry, and he's not showing a haircut. It made me believe that I could do the same. I can cut hair. That's not a problem. But, I found a lane that works for me, and I don't have to compete with somebody else on something that everybody else values.
Mm-hmm.
I think what I bring to the table is strong, and I hope that the example that I leave for others is for them to be comfortable enough to be themselves. They don't have to subject themselves to a tight fade and an edge up.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there's what I call being a successful barber.
Mm-hmm.
It's 3 things in this order. You have to have good character.
Uh-huh.
Without good character, that's the first thing when I got kicked out of barber college, the dude that cut hair the worst is the first one to buy his house, the first one to buy that Cadillac that we used to talk about everybody was gonna get, and the first one to go on vacation with his wife. Couldn't cut a lick. I tell you here on international webinar, couldn't cut a lick.
Now, the next question, the viewers want to know how they do it.
Because he found the right place. He found a place that was in the hood, high volume, and mothers just want to get their kids' hair shorter. And he came to work every day and he plugged away at it.
Mm.
We was all arguing about who was the dopest.
Right.
He in there grinding it out.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned a lesson that day, because he called all of us over. You know how it is. You sit in the back of the barber college, everybody told me, well, when I get my license, we're gonna be out there like I'm gonna go over to my house and I'm gonna have cars there waiting for you. We're gonna go out, we're gonna kick it. Yeah. We used to do that with this guy. And he would call us over his house, and he got a Cadillac and a house. And we was like, whoa, it wasn't me. You know what I mean? And so I learned from that, you know, that it's not about that. It's not about the haircut and the edge. Placing yourself in the right environment is key, you know, and he did that. You have good character, it goes even that much further. There's no way that you can have business savvy, which is the second key principle in being a successful barber. There's no way that you can have good business principles without good character, because the pressure will cause you to leave the script, to move off the script. If you know good business practices, all you got to do is have your back up against the wall, and that poor character will rise up and you'll do something totally different. And the last thing is technical skill. You got to have some technical skill. You don't have to be the best technical skill. Technical skill will carry you further, but we can go out in this industry right now, here and today, and get some people with the most talent that are out of position. They can't find nobody to work with them. They done ran their own names, with company after company after company after company. And now the best people in the best key areas are, you know, homeless, so to speak.
Okay.
Am I telling the truth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's some good information.
It starts with good character. It starts with good character. Technical skill will carry you far, but it won't take you all the way. So those three things in that order: technical skill.
It was character, business savvy.
And technical skill is last. And I'm saying that, pointing this out because that's not what school teaches us.
Because a lot of people think they got to have great technical skills.
Right. But school, that's what we spend in Ohio, that's what we spend 1,800 hours working on. You know, we skipped a chapter on character. That's the first chapter in the book. We skip it, we start into shear cutting so that we can make sure that we get where we need to be by the end of your hours that are dedicated to theory. Right?
Right.
And we get you out on the floor the very first thing. And then you stay on the floor in increasingly amounts until you graduate. You spend the last 4 to 6 weeks having all that stuff knocked out, doing nothing but cutting. The character piece at first. And since I didn't take the character chapter, I got
right.
The business chapter, we spend 1 day, maybe 2 on. So that's why I developed that concept, or discovered it. I'll say I didn't develop it. I just discovered that it's the exact opposite of school. I mean, I'm a big supporter of school.
Right.
I'm a greater supporter of apprenticeships and mentoring. But I think that, you know, we've seen states that have apprenticeships and people abuse it. And, you know, if apprenticeship had an integrity mandate, it would be great. Because then you can actually grow and cultivate an individual into their gift and not into standardized, you know, but I think that's probably the best thing I've ever learned, is those 3 things.
So that was character, business
savvy second, and technical skill third.
Technical skill third. That's some real good stuff. Anything else that you want to leave the viewers? What's the best way for them to contact you?
Wow. Probably on Facebook, in that inbox on Facebook, or the messenger, however you look at it. You know.
Okay. Can they contact you through the Barber Society?
Yeah, just go to www.facebook.com /groups/Barber Society, or just type Barber Society in the search bar for Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
We'll come up and hit join. We got an administrative team. Shout out to Bilber. He does our administration to bring people in. I mean, he's a great guy. I know I'm detractor, but I just had to say that.
Yeah.
Bilber's a great leader, and I learned so much from him. But yeah, so he takes care of that. I help him out, so we make sure that you're serious enough about being a barber that you put it on your page and you show yourself doing haircuts, and then
Mm-hmm.
it's as simple as that. Yeah, I mean, those are probably the best ways to contact me.
Okay. Anything that you want to leave the barbers? So I know they need to get those books, and tell us where they get the books again, Chris.
Okay. The books are available at christopherburke.bigcartel.com. There's 3 books. There's What's He Gonna Say Next? That's the one I talked about, my experiences in school. It's kind of funny, story written book. There's the instruction manual, which is a leadership system for barbers. That's the one where it shows that you begin to cultivate leadership from the chair to the top. And then the primer for filing taxes, which is Your Uncle Sam and the Barber Industry. Those are the 3 books. And then you can keep an eye out for the one that I said I haven't finished yet, and that's essays written to a modern day barber culture. Essays written to shape a modern day barber culture.
Now that's gonna be a real good one, isn't it?
Oh man, that's gonna be a good one, because I'm just kind of just talking about all different kind of stuff with that things that mean something to me. Things that happen outside of the barber world, but the principles should be in. Something we should learn from, that we can see in everyday life, and take that value system and put it in our industry to help it grow. Those what those essays are. People like Harry Belafonte in a biography style. I do a 3-part series on the Harlem Renaissance, on how we can learn to grow and have that kind of impact.
So right here.
Right. Essays written to shape a modern barber culture.
Okay. And when should we be looking for this book, Chris?
Probably summer. I'd say summer.
Okay. And tell the audience how much do the books cost?
The first 2 books, not essays, but What's He Gonna Say Next and the Leadership System for Barbers, those are $10.
Okay.
The textbook is $15. The essays will be $15 when it comes out.
Okay. So we'll be taking a look at those, and also, will you be posting them in the Barber Society also?
Yes, I will. I post them on the Barber Society, and I post them on my Instagram, which after watching your 25 ways to mess up your Instagram, I figured I'm going to correct my 23 ways and begin to use Instagram.
All right.
So yeah, I tell you the truth, I'm very excited about that. I think.
Well, you got over 11,000 members, one of the largest barber Facebook groups in the world, so you don't need a lot of Instagram.
I want to do it. I mean, I didn't like Instagram before because it didn't have the type of dialogue and engagement that Facebook has. But you made it sound very profitable. I don't mean profitable just money, but
Yeah.
Like you can get your word out. You've developed a way to use the audience that's there and then pull them into your environment so that you can convey your message.
Right.
So I'm like all for it. You're gonna see me running with the horses.
Okay. You're gonna have to come back and join us again and share a lot of history lessons with the audience on Willie Monroe and all of those
Right.
gurus from, back in the day. So What you say?
Can we do two people?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, maybe we can chime in Douglas Bristol.
Okay. You're gonna have to let us know so we can make that happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that book is so paramount for our industry. You know, just to learn for the industry, barber industry as a whole, but then also Black people and their role in barbering, because it seems as though if you think about traditional barbering, you always go back to Floyd the Barber. That's the 1950s barber,
Mm-hmm.
or actually 1960s barber, because the whole story about Mulberry is that it's 1960s and they're still stuck in the 50s. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in the 60s, you got the Beatles and there is no haircut, right?
Right.
So the industry died. And so this Barney Fife, who's a kind of a buffoon, I mean, I don't know what he called, like a buffoon. I mean, he's goofy and he's looking down, and they just kind of tolerate him and watch his business die.
Right.
You know, that's what people consider to be old school barbering. But barbering is Egypt, man. I mean,
you're gonna have to give us another full lesson one day so I can give the viewers that whole full lesson on that. And you have to let me know, and that way I can let the viewers know, because that'll be another great thing that they need to know.
Yeah, well, you mentioned Cheryl. I'd love to have her talk about comedics and you know, I mean, man, for real. I mean, she can take it all the way back. You know, she can answer a lot of the questions about Marymount that people don't. They just know enough to check the box and say, you know, who's the oldest barber? Yeah.
Okay. Well,
yeah, she could peel that back.
Well, once you contact your people, get back with us in the audience, because that's we want to know all of that.
All right,
man. Okay, what would you like to leave us with, Chris? I know you gave us 3 gems: character, business savvy, and there was a third one. I wrote it down.
Technical skills.
Technical skills. Anything else?
Yeah. Just keep moving forward. You know, find somebody that you feel like you can be like, because you got the same make relationship with them, and let's change this industry, man. We need to be more of a partnership, more of a unified body. We need to be supplying strength to another. We need to move as one, you know, and we should not be paling to cosmetology. We're a much more gifted and graced group, I believe.
Okay.
And definitely harder workers.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
So, everything that they do, we should have in ours, and we should be doing it better.
All right.
That comes from a licensed cosmetologist.
All right. Well, I'll leave it on that note. And I thank you, Christopher Burke. We got Christopher Burke in the house, one of the leaders of the Barber Society. So we thank you for sharing your time with us, Christopher.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. All right.
Thanks for everything.
All right.